Welcome back to Nick Lenz Comic Corner, Classic Less Known Classics. This is episode number 2042 and episode number 1936. I have two DC trades. One features the Justice League, kind of. The other features a character who was at the time considered Justice League, but was retconned. Basically, this was actually not the same character. Okay? Okay, so first up we have by Keith Giffen and Jay Demadius. We have Justice League Corporate Maneuvers. Now this contains the first 4 issues of Justice League Quarterly. Now you might be asking, Nick, have you ever covered anything for this series before? Yes, I believe it was in, if I remember correctly, I believe it was basically, I think it was like Flash by Mark Waid, I think it was. Yes. It ran for 17 issues. This actually is one of a couple trades that even feature they even collect anything from Justice League Quarterly. Yes. Now, this contains the first 4 issues. And a lot of these stories are really long. Now, pretty much the way, the first issue is the debut of the Conglomerate. Yes, this is a sort of, simply put, basically the best way to describe the Conglomerate. They're a corporate version of the Justice League. They actually have 2 Justice League members part of the team, Gypsy and Booster Gold. Yeah, Booster Gold had quit Justice League International and basically formed this team. Of course, here with Vibe's brother Reber. Yes, seriously, that's his name. Oh, by the way, the person in charge of Clarice, she's actually, get this, Maxwell Lord's ex-wife. I'm not kidding about that. Claire Montgomery. Yeah, she's Maxwell's ex-wife. This actually was not her first appearance. Nope. Her first appearance was in Justice League America 37. Yeah, that was pretty much the way her first appearance. You could say that basically her debut pretty much set up this very team, this very book, per se. Yes. Oh, by the way, 37 has not been collected yet in trade. Shockingly, it hasn't. Now, pretty much basically the league itself are not big fans of the Conglomerate. Despite the fact the Conglomerate here, here's the thing. The first issue just has one story, Corporate Maneuvers. Start with second issue and start adding more stories to it. Now, mostly put Keith Giffen does the writing for a lot of these stories. With Jay Demadius or Jill Jones. But those are co-writers. Some stories, there's one here done by Will Jacobs, that's from issue 4. But a lot of it is put basically Jay Demadius. Also, a lot of artwork is an artwork here by. Now, in case you're curious though, does Kevin McGuire do any artwork for these issues? No, he doesn't. Some of the cover artwork is done by Adam Hughes, who actually still does work this very day, along with Brett Sears. The interior artwork for issue 1 is done by Keith Giffen and Chris Spruce. The second issue, the first story, the artwork is done by Randy Elliott and Bruce Pearson. Second story is Adrian Ellau, and that's basically issue 2. 3 is basically done by Mike McCone. Issue 4, which has 6 stories in it. This first story is kept by Will Jacobs. He does the writing. Artwork by Jacob Pearson. Jay Demadius does pretty much the rest of the stories here. With the first story, Cracked Ice, artwork by Derek Robinson. Food for Thought. It's, basically, all the rest of the stories are worked on by Marshall Rogers. Yes. Now, one thing I should point out about the cover for the very first issue of the series. This actually is a reused cover. Yes. This cover has been used a few times. The first of this cover was ever used was for the first issue of Justice League by Jay Demadius, Keith Giffen, and Kevin McGuire. They reused this cover for the first issue of Justice League Europe. This was the third time they ever did it. Why in the world they actually used this cover, I don't know, but it's a good cover. Yes. Now, the strange thing is, the Glamour is only in one story of the entire 4 issues in here. No, seriously. One story. Yeah. And the thing is, their appearances are very scarce. Like, very, very scarce. In case of Quarterly, they appear 2 more times in this book, and that's it. Their appearances, like, they don't make many appearances. They appear in issue 1 of this book, 812, 1 inch Just Like Europe, issue 34, 50 Year Just Like America, Venture Superman 476, and the last little physical appearance was in Blood Pack number 1. Yeah, that's basically been it. Now, I'm also put basically the first issue here features the original lineup, which is comprised of, like I said, Booster Gold, Reverb, and Gypsy. They also include Maxi Man, Praxis, and a couple of new characters, Echo and Viper. Echo is a woman. Who, here's the strange thing though. This is one of those characters who didn't really appear much. She mostly just appeared with like a conglomerate. That's mostly what this character is basically here for. Excuse me. Reverb, if you don't know who this guy is, he is Vibe's brother. Yep. And here's when he gets the name Reverb. Yes. And he's a Jerry Comic character. Yep. He is. He's actually the only Jerry. He's one of 2 Jerry Comic characters for this book. The other is Gypsy. Maxi Man is a character from Mr. Miracle. He's a Lean Ween creation. And he's currently dead. He actually died like 21 years ago. In JSA 28. Yeah, Maxi Man. I think he really Maxi Man. Yeah, just a weird superhero who appeared just in Mr. Miracle. Praxis. He is a Doug Moa character. Yep. It's almost like, with the exception, if you think about it, if you're basically a regular comic fan, you know who Booster Gold is, no problem. And Gypsy. Yeah, because Booster Gold is well known. Gypsy is kind of up there, but not really. Mostly because basically she's just basically a gypsy who's got some powers. In the Flash TV show, they basically made her a female version of Vibe. That's mostly what she's there for. Now, the conglomerate, who's only in, just like I said, the first story here. Now, these are their sponsors. And this might surprise you. LexCorp, Stag Industries, Ferris Aircraft, Star Lab, Pax Entertainment, Dupree Chemical, American Steel, Denta Foods, Olive Oil. Now, LexCorp. Lex Luthor, yep. Ferris Aircraft. You probably think, is Kara Ferris for this issue? No, she actually does not appear. Yeah, Kara Ferris does not appear in this story. You might be asking, why the heck does he not appear in the issue? The answer, I have no idea. Star Labs, I don't know who represents them. American Steel, I believe this is the company that Steel worked for, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, so here you are, the brand new team. Yep, that's the first Lamb conglomerate. Booster Gold's on the far left. Gypsy is like near the middle. Reverb is on the far right. Yeah, that's Reverb right there. Oop, no, back up. Thank you. Yeah, and there's also this guy named Carl here. Carl is basically the... How should I put this? Now, Claire is obviously the one who's running the team behind the scenes. Basically, she's one of the orders. But Carl is there basically as the representative of the sponsors. And the guy is an annoyance. I should also point out that these issues are really long. They're longer than normal issues. Think of these as like annuals. So, yeah, they deal with stuff. They help their clients per se, but they do. Now, here's the thing: Keith Gibbs and is poke fun of their own group in this series, and this is something that apparently Marvel likes doing too, where like they have the premier team of their universe, and they chastise them for basically doing stuff that they probably should be doing. Where they get into arguments with their superhero team. Some of whom basically not very, very long. Marvel still does this very day, too. Now, DC has done really much over the years, but this is the case basically where, and apparently the thing is, the JLI are jealous of the conglomerate. So they speak to them. Well, Blue Beetle does. Yes, Blue Beetle speaks to Booster Gold about this. And of course they celebrate. And of course then pretty much almost the entire team just meets in the men's room. Yes, seriously. Because we was like, oh, I'm so bored. And then of course Booster's like, look with the cat dragged, and he just grabbed Claire and dragged her into the men's room. And heck, she actually agrees with what they're saying, basically, that they're not liking all the publicity very much. They have the attention, just not this much. Yes. So, and by the way, Carl, still like this guy. This guy is pretty much an annoyance. There's a funny bit here. This was so hilarious when I saw this. This is so funny. I gotta show this off here. Because later on in the book, first they take down a country. They take out dictatorship. But apparently some countries basically don't like the fact that they dare oppose a supposed anti-communist country, even though the frickin' ruler is a dictator. And because they dare take it down, we have the Justice League basically told to basically go arrest them. For basically being heroes. Yes, seriously. So I was like, yeah, you're under arrest. And they're like, nope, not really. Bye-bye. So Booster just puts them in the helicopter and they leave. Yes, they leave. And they can't do much about it because here's the thing. The U.S. actually opposes this particular... Now, the decision to send the JLI to basically arrest them was ordered by the UN. And the U.S. actually gets the idea simply because basically they did nothing wrong. So after some disagreements, after this particular thing, they stopped taking assignments for a while. Teresa's, let's see. And of course there's and then we have Hector Hammond here. Yes, Hector Hammond, a Green Lantern villain. This is weird guy. This whole thing with the drugs thing is so hilarious, which it's a odd story. And of course they deal with the person, and of course the conglomerate works with the Justice League International over this. Yep, and they fight the creature. And then, of course, they murder his other guy. And let's see if we can find it because it's so funny. And, of course, thinking like, no fair. And he's like, well, we got here. Somebody awful looks familiar. Can it be? Why, yes, it is. Oh, Hector. And he's like, no, Not him. Anyone but him. And he gets him with a freaking hammer. It's so funny. Yeah, it's so funny. Then, of course, this creature disappears. And, of course, basically that, well, the story ends basically with Claire telling the sponsors, do good. And that's it for the conglomerates. Yeah, they're just in this one issue, and then the old pair get to issue 8. They have to deal with this guy called Mr. Nebula. Yes, seriously, it's the whole second issue is about Mr. Nebula. This weird creature. It's a very odd issue featuring Gennart. Yes. Of the Green Lantern Corps. Yes, he's a member of the Justice League International. So the whole second issue is basically deal with him. And of course, we've got some appearance by the Batman. Because of course Batman's here. This is just a weird issue. I love the first issue, but this second issue is just weird. Of course, you might say, it's comics. It's supposed to be weird. But this is just bizarre, to say the least. This weird giant of a creature. And that story. Then we have a Fire and Ice story. I love the Fire and Ice story. It's really good here. And this is the only place you can actually find Fire and Ice stories. Because here's the strange thing about these two. They never have a book together. Like, a book that's not part of... They were not part of Justice League. Nope, not really. Don't know why. And here's the thing in the story. They run into Captain Cold and Heatwave of the Rogues. Flash villains. And they beat him in this one issue. I'm like, really? It takes basically Flash, like, in his book, several issues where he finally beats him. Yeah. In issue 3, the artwork just goes really weird and very wonky. It's more Justice League stuff here. Disney Brief came over here by General Glory. General Glory was actually he had a lot of featuring time. He had a lot of screen time in this series. Sorry about that. My nose has been dripping. So, just a interesting issue. It's mostly all Justice League stuff. We'll also deal with like this other group per se. Is there any fun stories in here per se? Well, there is. And we have a scene here. We have Black Canary, Flash, Aquaman, Hal Jordan, and John Stewart in the Secret Sanctuary for reasons. Yeah. But I do like them scene here. It's really good here. By the way, Power Girl wears this yellow outfit. So if in case you're curious though, where's the boob window costume she's not wearing? For some reason, 90s they wouldn't allow to wear it for some reason. I don't know why. More shrinking stuff. Yeah, then of course next issue we have appearance by the Injustice League. Yes, the Injustice League. Major Disaster, Clock King, Big Sur, Clue Master, and like, here's the thing about these guys. A decade after the story came out, all but 2 of these guys would die in a mission for the Suicide Squad. Yes, seriously. Those who know who the Clock King is, he is a Green Arrow villain. Clue Master is a Batman villain. Big Sur, I think, is a Flash villain. Major Disaster is a Green Lantern villain. Let's see. There's also Mighty Man. Multi-Man, I believe, is a... Yeah, he's a villain from Challenge the Unknown. He's the guy with the bald head. The Mighty Bruce is original to just basically... Yeah. Big Sur, I believe, is a Flash villain, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he's a Flash villain. And he got killed off first issue of Suicide Squad Volume 2 by Keith Giffen. By Keith Giffen. Yeah, Major Disaster who survived, but everyone else died. Clock King died, though he later came back. Yeah, I do love stories featuring the old classic Injustice League. They're very fun characters. And at one point, these guys became Justice League Antarctica. Yes, they did this in an annual for some strange reason. And Gennard was part of their team. Yes, because they wanted to basically become good guys. Yep. It's a good comedy story. I do like the Justice League here. Fun stuff. Yeah, for some reason, also became recurring villains in the pages of Justice League Europe. Just because they want to learn French. Yeah. Seriously, that was the whole reason why they're put there. They have cracked ice. We have Guy with ice. And we have Oberon with fire. There's actually a reason for this. Oberon is in love with fire. What Guy would? Fire is hot, and plus she's Brazilian. Kind of like basically the wrestler Ty Mello, who's also Brazilian. She's hot too, and she's married to Sammy Guevara. Yeah. Now, weird thing is, prior to the joining Justice League International, she was part of the Global Guardians. They were the predecessor, well, the UN-sponsored predecessor to Justice League International. This story here, Cracked Ice, it's just a story featuring these two. You have ice going like giant size, some weird monster story, but it's a fun one nonetheless. We have a bit where you have Guy kissing ice, and of course, basically everybody's so happy to do it. You have a Cattails one, which features Power Girl with her cat. Which, by the way, she had this cat. I think his name was Star. I think the name of the cat is. Yeah, the whole thing of Power Girl having a cat. They actually did this for Carol Danvers as well. Giving her a cat as well, named Chewie. Though in the movie they changed the goose because basically you know, avoid confusion with Star Wars because of Top Gun reference. Yeah, and that's pretty much the whole book here. Great book. I get this book roughly a 10 out of 10 because it's just classic DC stuff. Well, really the Justice League. All right, next up is going to be Birds of Prey. The Bird of Prey. You have the Black Canary, Bird of Prey. Yes. This book was originally published as Black Canary Archive Edition. Pretty much this whole book is pretty much that particular archive series. This book contains basically... Now, by the way, this actually is not the more familiar one. This is not Diana Laurel Lance. This is Diana Drake Lance. Her mother. Yes, this is the mother of the more popular Black Canary. Yeah, that's simply put who this character is. Now, you might think, okay, if this is the mother, where's her father? Larry Lance. Doesn't appear until basically she gets her own stories, because the first 5 stories is her basically guest starring in Johnny Thunder stories. Yes, Johnny Thunder. And she supposedly is this dangerous woman, and there's hints in the book basically that Johnny Thunder could have a thing for Black Canary, but it doesn't go anywhere at all because by 91, Johnny Thunder is dropped from the book. No, seriously, he's dropped from the book. And replaced with the Black Canary. And she's there up until the final issue 104, as a feature in the book. Yep. This book not only contains basically appearance from issue 86 to... Excuse me. 104 for Flash Comics. But it also contains, get this... Avenger Comics, $3.99 to $3.99 4/18 to 4/19. Brand Bowl 6162, Comic Climb K25, DC Special number 3. They just skip one story here. 89 is not here for some reason. But yeah, they go from 86 to 104. And the covers from the years from 1947, 1949, 65, 69, 70, and 72. The Brave Bold issues is simply a 2-part team story where you have basically Starman, the original Starman, Ted Knight team up with Black Canary. Yeah, this is like a retcon in the Starman series that led to a brief affair between the two of them. Despite the fact both of them were dating separate people. Like, Ted was basically dating a woman who later became basically the mother of his 2 children. I believe her name was Doris, if I'm not mistaken. And of course, Black Canary. end up basically with Larry, and she gave birth to Diana Laura Lance. And it's so hilarious the fact that this happened to be this way. And in case you're curious, though, did she ever meet her future son-in-law? Nope. In case you're curious, what happened to her? She died of cancer in the final issue of Secret Origins, which is not featured here for some reason. Now, a lot of the stories feature her, just her basically, she's depicted as a sort of a thief, per se, in the early stories. You can kind of think of her as basically a ripoff of Catwoman. That's most of the she was written, mostly, and then later when she got her own feature, you have Larry being a supporting character. So it's basically Black Canary got her own spotlight, which is great for her. Yep. And of course, appearing in these other books, it's just basically a solo appearance for her. And here's the thing. In the Brain Mold issue, she got a chance to fight the Mist, who is a Starman villain. And here's the strange thing about him. In the Golden Age of comics, he appeared one time, and didn't appear again until this two-parter. And then he became a recurring villain in the James Robinson Starman series. That's the weird thing about the Mist. But this book is fantastic. If you're a fan, if you're very interested in the Black Canary, if you're interested about the original Black Canary, this book basically gave you weight for it. Now, in case you're curious though, when is this first Black Canary supposed to join Justice League? Issue 75, that was retconned, I think it was issue 215, that this actually, when we joined Justice League, was actually not the Black Canary. This Black Canary, it was her daughter, who ended up basically marrying Oliver Queen. And when you read Justice League, when she joined not long after issue 75, it had this thing where she's trying to get a relationship with Green Arrow, despite the fact she's thinking about her dead husband, Larry. And later on, this became basically the father of the Black Canary here. Oh, by the way, in case you're curious who does the writing here for these issues, well, it is Robert Canaider, Gardner Fox, and Dennis O'Neil. Artwork by Carmen Fantino, Murphy Anderson, Alex Toth, Joe Keela, Fengushi, and Bernard Sheeks. A lot of these people, pretty much everybody who featured in this book, are no longer alive. The cover, even though it's done by Carmen Fantino, he's no longer alive. So, sadly. But this book is fantastic. I give this book roughly a 10 out of 10. It's just that damn good. Okay? So, yes, that's it for this review. I thought I would time to do more video, but clearly not enough time. So, maybe tomorrow or Friday at this point. Okay? Next video. Bye.